Time. It's LinkedIn Live, Hour of Empower. The word of the day is hope. And hopefully, you get a lot of value out of this. Our goal is to provide a lot of takeaways that you can actually apply and benefit from. I'm honored today to have Dr. Joanne with us and Dr. Marilyn. Dr. Marilyn will be probably, hopefully, signing on pretty soon. And with that said, chat's open. Feel free to comment whenever you can. And we really rely on your comments to direct our conversation so we can be as relevant as possible. And with that said, I'll introduce our guest that's here, Dr. Joanne. So, Dr. Joanne, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and what your initial thoughts on hope is?
Well, I do coaching, I do counseling, I do hypnotherapy, and I've been thinking about hope because I've had a couple of challenging experiences like we all have in our lives, and hope and faith got me through them. And so I don't know if you want me to share that now,
Oh,
but
sure. Why don't you?
okay. So a few years ago, I actually had a head injury and I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't put words together. I couldn't deal with sound and with light. Everything was really horrific, and I'm blessed to be here today. There she is. Hooray, Marilyn.
I can't
And
get in. I
oh,
can't get in either on the phone or
Oh,
I'm
no, no
on the
problem.
phone, but
Well,
I
well,
can't get in.
we
yeah,
hear you.
yeah, we
I'm,
can hear you, Marilyn. And if that's the way we need to work it today, then let's go with just your voice.
Can you see us at all?
I can see you guys, but I can't be seen.
Oh,
Okay.
so would you rather reschedule, Marilyn?
Is there what?
Would you rather reschedule?
No, I don't want to reschedule.
Okay, so let's just go with what we have. We're fine.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't know what's going
not
on.
a problem, not a problem. So with that, Dr. Joanne, why don't you continue?
Okay, so I was feeling kind of hopeless for a little bit. I thought, well, how am I ever going to get through this? And my doctor encouraged me to do walking, which I still do. And I was walking, and again, that feeling of hopelessness. And I had a voice in my head that was a male voice, whether it was an angel, my higher self, a God, whatever it was. And it said, I got you.
Wow.
And tears streamed down my face. And I felt at that moment, Donald, that no matter what, I was going to get through it. I had a sense of hope to be able to move on and here I am. So hope, like I said, hope got me through that time, and so did faith, and that was beautiful.
Well, that's wonderful. So you've made tremendous progress since then because of hope. Dr.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and it's it's a model for other people to leverage off of because of people's ability to have a belief in something that will turn out, have a more positive, optimistic approach. With that said, let's move over to Marilyn. And Marilyn, why don't you share? Sorry you couldn't get the camera going, but a little bit of a little who you are, just briefly, and then what your initial thoughts on the word hope is.
Well, thanks for having me. Even though you guys can't see me, I don't know what's wrong with Restream. Having said that, I've had a lot of hope recently. Um, I was hopeful I could be here, even though you can't see me, because on Wednesday I sat in the dentist chair for 3.5 hours and had some major dental surgery. I mean, I look okay. I'm just sore. And I was just hopeful that I would be able to make it through there and feel a little better. And, being a grandma of 8 children,
Wow,
grandchildren, yeah, I got 8 of them, Joanne.
I know.
It's a big, big, big responsibility on my part to make sure that they're okay and I'm playing with them and we're having a good time.
Well,
Um,
that's great. So how has hope helped you through your life, Marilyn?
Well, I've had some, being a naturopath, but I've also had some big health issues. And once I am very hopeful that once I get up in the morning, my feet hit the floor, I'm ready for the day. And like Joanne, I have a lot of faith, a lot of hope, and a lot of love. And that's what's getting me through, to be honest with you.
Well, wow, that's great. And I know you for a long time, and I know how honest and authentic you are. And I really suggest everybody take the opportunity to look around who's commenting, who's on the show, see if there's alignment, see if there's an opportunity to make a good connection or learn from somebody. So, the key to this is value, and how do we get it? Without going too much further, let's go to the audience. Omar M is here, who really is a great guy, does a lot of work during the day and then volunteers a lot of time at night to his Zoom party show, which he really helps a lot of kids out with. So thanks again, Omar, for being here. Renadeb is here every day from India. He always says the same thing, good morning to all from my side, and then follows up with, wonderful to join the live session today. I had the pleasure of talking with Renadeb a couple weeks ago. Great gentleman, somebody you should meet. Moving on to Dennis, who's our poet laureate here, who always has a cool rhyme or a quote, but that's mostly a Chiefs area. Dennis says, a head injury, but you're getting ahead of many others. Congrats and thanks for still sharing and caring. Well, that's a wonderful way to start the show, Dennis and Renadeb and Omar, and moving on to Ashif. Hello all, it all begins and ends with hope. So true, Ashif. And, Ashif's just a wonderful gentleman up there in Canada, here every day, contributing all the time, and really, really bringing some strong, valuable insights to the table. Dennis comes back with, happy to hear you, even though we can't see you here, but you sound like Happy and Grandma. So good for you, Dennis. And I second the motion. So with that, Dr. Joanne, going kind of round robin here, what's your thoughts towards the audience initial response to the show?
Well, thank you all for being here. It's wonderful, and we need hope. I mean, no matter what's going on, and we don't always know what's going to happen, whether it's internationally or nationally or personally or with our family, but I believe that sense of hope can get us through. It can motivate us. It can create more of a sense of resilience and make us feel positive despite what's going on. And that, to me, that's one of the most incredible blessings that we have. That is a gift that we can utilize.
Well, that's so valuable. And the key is, how do we make more people more hopeful? How do we encourage people around us to look at the glass half full instead of half empty? And how can we help rebuild or support someone who is rebuilding and reinventing themselves? So that's really important. With that, Marilyn, what's your thoughts on the initial audience response?
I'm glad the audience is here, even though they can't see me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I hope everybody's having a great day. I appreciate their time, because time is something that you can't get back once you use it. And time is the only thing that we cannot stop. You can stop everything else, but you can't stop time. So at my age, I am hoping that I can make it through every single day. Even if I have bumps in the road, and I've had bumps, we've all had bumps in the road. We didn't make it this far at our age to not have bumps in the road. So my thing is, let's all be helpful, have faith, and love one another.
Wow, that is so thoughtful and so valuable to so many. I think, that also lends itself to really being able to pause and appreciate what you have that you take for granted, or you could have a better attitude of gratitude, because that puts things in perspective. There's always something better, more, bigger, but is it really better if it doesn't make you a better person, and especially a better person to yourself? We've got a new gentleman, Abdel Wahed. Sorry if I haven't pronounced it well. Good morning. Hello. Thank you for the superb event. And, we've got an outreach, congratulations, because I think to encourage hope, we have to acknowledge other people's accomplishments and achievements and challenges that they've overcome, because that gets the cherry on top of the cake kind of deal, where, doing something and really going a long way, perseverance, patience, and having someone being aware and acknowledging it can really reinforce that and make you feel much better about yourself. Elizabeth is here. Great to see you. Always welcome. We've got another new name every day. We've got new people coming in with new thoughts and ideas. Good evening from India. I can only imagine what time it is there. Thanks for staying up or getting up early if that's the case. What I think all of us on the panel would like to know is, what's your definition of hope? Can you share some incidents and events where hope got you through? And that's really what we're trying to do here, is build the consciousness and the awareness of what hope is and what hope can do. So Elizabeth is here also, again, saying hello to Ashif. With that, Marilyn, what's your thoughts on the ability to support others in a hopeful manner?
Well, being a naturopath, I always go out of my way to help people have hope. Even if they're down and out, there is a light at the end of this tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't see it. And we need to get through the trying times. And hope comes into that when we are going through difficult stages in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to love one another. We live in such a tumultuous world right now, and to love one another, find the positivity in life. And I hope and pray that, everybody finds a way to get through their day, whether it's easy or difficult or what may happen. Just find a way to get through that day.
That is so valuable. And I think part of that is your network, is your support group, right? The people that are your best friends, and best friends are the ones who are showing up for you without you having to ask, and that gives you hope, knowing that you're not alone, that you're not doing it by yourself. And it's all perspective. So Dr. Joanne, what can you say to that?
Well, I think Marilyn, I agree so much with what you said. And I think it's important to, when you're feeling down, when you're having a moment of hopelessness, and sometimes we do, reach out. We do have people that care. I do something on a daily basis that warms my heart and helps other people, I believe. And that's when I'm out in the world, I just say something to make somebody smile and give them a sense of connection. I have a funny hat that has feathers in it. And one day I was in the supermarket and this little girl was crying, and I went over, and her parents didn't know what, sort of were kind of desperate. And I did funny things with the feathers, and she started to laugh, and I walked away, and that was, again, give people a sense of feeling connected, feeling a little bit of joy and a little bit of gratitude that there's somebody that cares, no matter, even if it's just a smile, and being able to do that on a daily basis. And again, reaching out, we have times in our lives, as Marilyn said, and you said, Donald, where we don't know what's going to happen next, but that sense of hope, that little light at the end of the tunnel, can motivate us to go through the darkness, can motivate us to get through very uncomfortable and very difficult times. And that's, again, that to me is beautiful and a blessing. And Marilyn, I love what you said. Love everybody. And we have to put love out in the world. There's anger, there's frustration, there's hate, and I think love and gratitude and a little bit of hope can diffuse that in a beautiful way.
Well, I think you hit it right on the nose, Dr. Joanne, because the days of waiting for institutions or governments to come to the rescue are limited relative to peer-to-peer, shoulder-to-shoulder support. So you can help one person, like Dr. Joanne and Dr. Marilyn has said, and maybe put a smile on somebody's face. That ripples. Maybe that smile puts another smile on somebody's face. So why not start where you are with who you're with and do little things right over time for people, because that duplicates, that scales. And all you can do is all you can do, and you got to start where you are with what you have, right? And life is going to come at you ready or not. Every day is going to show up whether you're ready for it or not. So are you going to show up hopeful, positive, encouraged, or are you already going to be somewhat defeated by whatever you think is what you're going to expect to find? And that's usually, Leslie Flowers always makes a good statement, is everything you decide to go towards starts coming towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you expect something and make some level of effort, put some time into it, you'll see parts of it materialize. With that, we've got, go ahead. You had something to say, Dr.
I wanted to respond to what Elizabeth just put there. And when you feel that you have, thanks for sharing, Elizabeth, but when you feel that you have to go it alone, it does get exhausting. But there are people here. I mean, we're here too. Sometimes people call me, even my clients call me sometimes when we don't have a session, because I like to let them know that there's somebody. I'm not just here for your money or a paycheck, that I care about you and I want people to feel that. So reaching out to people, knowing that you don't have to put all the pressure on yourself, is really a relief. And there is help. There are people that care, and it's important to reach out to them.
Makes so much sense. Let me share. Robert's here. I guess we just mentioned keep hope alive. Then Elizabeth comes back. This is a word I struggle to understand. I've never used that word. I've always confirmed I will get through this. It changes my energy on how I feel. And then we've got Elizabeth, I'm learning to see otherwise. And then just came back with that comment we had just talked about. And I think, that's the cool thing about having the word of the day. It makes you re-examine what the definition is, and now what the definition could be, and how you can now look at hope in a way that maybe you weren't really focused on, or understand what hope can do for you, and what happens if you don't.
I wanted to respond again to, I work a lot with energy, and everything is energy. So Elizabeth, what you're talking about, hope and gratitude and love and smile, all of those are energy, and it's what we're putting out in the world, and also what we're putting into ourselves. So even if you're not believing it, even if the circumstances that you're going through seem bleak and you don't really know how you're going to get through it, that little light of hope can shift the energy, not only in the moment, but like you were talking about, Donald, about Leslie, going out, actually really goes out into the world and out into helping to bring that into your reality.
Thank you so much for that extra thought, Marilyn. So when you look at, hope and how important it is, how do you see being able to spread more hope out there in the world?
There are two things I do every day. I've been doing this for a gajillion years. I'm not quite a gajillion years old, but sometimes I feel like I'm a gajillion years. But there are two things I do. I try to learn something new every day, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I touch the heart and life of at least one person every day. And normally it's a lot more than one person. But my goal is to always keep a positive attitude. I'm a very positive person. Sometimes we all get into that negative time when we're really having a difficult time. I try to move out of that as fast as I can. But staying positive and just going outside and looking at the world and seeing the trees and listening to the birds and watching the cars go by. Or I just bought a new bicycle a couple days ago. I'm going to get back into cycling again. And that's my thing. I've decided I'm getting a new bicycle. I'm turning over a new leaf and I'm getting back on a bicycle.
Good.
And I have hope that I'll be able to ride that bicycle. I did ride it a couple days ago to try it out. My legs were a little wobbly afterwards, but let me tell you something. It was absolutely exhilarating.
Wow.
Find something exhilarating to do during your day, even if it's 5 minutes that you've got to yourself. Even if it's going out and looking at nature. We all need the vitamin D. Last week, I went hiking with my grandchildren for 90 minutes. 90 minutes for me. By that time, Grandma had it. We got to go back to the car. On top of that, I got lost in the woods. But my grandson found us out. I had hoped that he would find us to the car, and he did. But that's what I do every day. I always have a smile on my face, and I'm very intuitive. And one day, when my 9-year-old grandson was just a few months old, my intuition said, we were at the grocery store, my intuition said, go to the cashier who is having the worst day. So I went to this cashier and she was really having a bad day. She was moving my stuff through the conveyor belt. And at the end, because my grandson was asleep, at the end, he opens his eyes and gives her the biggest smile. Her whole persona changed, her aura changed. She got a glow on her face. She looked at me and said, thank you. It took the smile of a little 8-month-old boy to put a glow on somebody's face who was having a really hard time. I hope that everybody can put a glow on somebody's face and keep smiling for people, because that's what smiles are free. They don't cost anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So let's use our smiling muscles instead of our frowning muscles and make somebody's day.
Well, that's so profound and valuable, and something hopefully everybody can incorporate in their awareness and application, right? To smile more, to be a little bit more aware of other people's situation and how a kind word or thought can change your mind and feelings. It can also do that to others, right? And I think if sharing is caring, being aware that there's always more you can do for others. The key is finding, like you did, Marilyn, the opportunity, right? You have to be thoughtful on who you try to support, and usually familiarity does help. So great comment. Moving on to Ashif. Ashif says, every problem is an opportunity to invent new opportunity. Positive mindset. So Ashif's just the best. Natalie, who I can't say enough about, great artist. Good morning. Let's find something exhilarating, smile, and remain intuitive every day. Great insights and easy enough to do. Elizabeth comes back with, sometimes a good cry feels good. I think it's being, the game is always between you and yourself. You set the rules, you make the judgments, you punish yourself or reward yourself, and it's really how good do you want to be to yourself in order to be really better to people around you, because you reflect. If you're hopeful, people will pick that up and maybe be a little bit more hopeful. And if you're not, you're going to be sending those vibes around too. Sheaf says, hope is a mighty seed that dreams in the darn. Well, that's interesting. And then a Sheaf comes back with dark. Oh, okay, gotcha. So we got to say it's
Dreams in the dark.
yeah,
Dreams in the dark. Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes, okay, gotcha. Thanks for clarifying that, Elizabeth. Your powerful quotes. Well, there's someone besides me, a Sheaf, that likes what you got to say. Yes, that's right. Well, we're all affirming and validating each other. I mean, this is so cool when, you have a positive flow of thoughts, ideas. People are somewhat conditioned to jump in. And, it's nice when you have comments of 3, 4, 5 lines, because it took thought and it took initiative, and it also took effort to type it out, send it out, be seen in front of all the other people. But, on LinkedIn, you don't want to be, in the witness protection plan or the best kept secret. You know what I mean? So if you're here, be here to be seen, be here to be heard, and be here to be appreciated. And the only way that happens is by sharing parts of whatever you think could bring value. People get to see you by what you do, not just by who you say you are. And I think that's good practice. So, Dr. Joanne, a lot here to jump onto. What's your next direction?
Well, I wanted to look to relate a little bit to that opportunity. Every day is an opportunity. Every problem, every challenge is an opportunity, as a Sheaf, is that, I hope I pronounce it right, says. And we have choices. We can decide everything is gloom and not be able to see the way out of it, or we can take that choice and say, well, I have an opportunity to have a sense of hope that no matter what, I'm going to get through it. No matter what, there's going to be that light, that ray of hope at the end of the darkness. And that's really important, because hope is a choice. And I've done a little research recently about hope, because I've been working with a couple of my clients about that. And hope actually can help us in terms of our health, our mental and our physical health. Because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel that no matter what you're going through, things are going to get better, even if they don't look like it at this time. It helps people feel better, be able to be more motivated to do things. So if I'm feeling like I don't know what's going to happen or whatever, but if I have that glimmer of hope, I want to do something, take that chance, take that opportunity, because it can shift what's happening in your present moment, in your present life, and bring in more positivity and more wonderful things that are going to happen.
Well, that's, and I believe it, and I believe you believe it. So, I believe it's believable then. And with that said, Linda's here. I don't know if everybody knows Linda, but just a really fine lady who has so much experience and such a giving person. Linda Coleman says, great word for today. Hope has so much in 4 letters: having, options, possible, everywhere. Great. An example of that for people here to share and connect. Happy Friday, all. Well, Linda, you sure put another brick in the wall today and helped us build stronger and better. And little things, again, make a big difference at certain times to certain people. Sometimes a kind word is enough to turn somebody around or get somebody off the fence. And I can't tell you how many messages I get because of the comments and the thoughts on the show that said, hey, if it wasn't for this, I was going to do that, or you made me feel more this or that, and it works. So why not apply that? Elizabeth says, I can feel it already. Wow. you know, and you know, I guess we're starting to transfer all kinds of good energy to Dr. Joanne's point. So Marilyn, when you think of all these people, especially Linda's great quote that I mean, or summary that I brought up, you know, believing everything's possible and options are everywhere. How do you use that when you're trying to help people see a better day?
Well, I'm big on options. I'm big on helping people realize that it's not the end of the world. I don't live day by day. I live moment by moment because living day by day is too big for me. And people look at me like, how can you live moment by moment? Like I'm doing right now. I'm living in this moment. It has helped me make it through the day. When I had my office, I used the KISS method. Keep it super simple. I am all for keeping life super simple. If it starts getting too complicated, I segue into another area because I'm not going to deal with the complications. It's too hard. It's too complicated. So I hope when I get to the next level, whatever that is, because you never know what cards are going to be dealt to you. You never know who you're going to come in contact with during the day, unless you're a hermit. But I don't know anybody here who's a hermit. But yeah, use the KISS method, Elizabeth. It is so easy. Keep it super simple. It makes life easier getting from one moment to the next. Having hope that you can segue into another moment and be successful at it. We're not going to be successful at everything, but we have hope that we can just make it through, get over that bump in the road, you know, have faith that the next issue that we have to deal with, the next person we have to deal with, we'll be able to help them out and help them see the light. Because friends, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep moving through.
So true. And one benefit of maybe getting older is you have more experiences.
Mhm.
And you can look back at where maybe you didn't have a lot of hope and it turned out just great. And maybe that adjusted, maybe what was I thinking here? Maybe next time something like this comes up, I should approach it there. And I think Marilyn makes a great point is you can only deal with what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change the past. You can't unring a bell. You can't fear the future because 90% of what you worry about never comes true. And the 10% that does come true, you had no way of knowing it or being ready for it. So don't beat yourself up twice. If you take a hit, don't take another hit by yourself. You know, they say it's not how many times you fall down, it's how fast you get up. Falling down isn't the issue. Staying down is the issue.
Right.
And, you know, and if it's not this, it's going to be that. If it's not now, it's going to be then. If it's not that person, it'll be another person. And all you can do, I think, to Marilyn's, which makes a very strong point, do the best you can. Keep it easy, simple, because what you want to do is be consistent in your hope. You don't want to be hopeful today and then hopeful tomorrow and then bounce around. You want to build on that hope. You have to be kind of, you know, thoughtful and, hey, what did I accomplish today? And I think that's where people who have a gratitude journal or before they go to sleep at night, remember the 3 or 4 or 5 things that they're most grateful for that day, or, you know, were a positive surprise, because it's not an absolute. Nothing's going to be 100% good and 100% bad. There's a blend. I think Marilyn makes another good point. You know, I found like the other day I lost something simple, like a charger to my earphones, right? And I just decided, it always works, that night not to even bother looking for it. I'll get it in the morning, and it always seems to show up. And the funny thing is, when you chase something, it kind of runs from you or avoids you. And when you walk away from it, it seems to come closer to you, just like if you're chasing a dog, either way. And I just know the universe is always working on my behalf. You know what I mean? And if, you know, and not everything is an outcome, it's a continuum. There is no ending and beginning. When today stops, tomorrow begins again. I got some great comments in here. Elizabeth wrote a prodigious comment. Yes, life has caused challenges through existence, the need, the glimmer of hope, and find great people to help change mindset. And finding a place to reach out, share with others, and knowing can help make a difference in a day or for a new. I'll read the rest of it. Knowing, okay, and help your life become more than ever felt it could be. So true, Linda. And Linda's had a ton of experience, a lot of ups and a lot of challenges, and has come through with a really positive attitude. Oh, thank you from Elizabeth. Everybody's being so appreciative. Varshis, haven't seen you in a while. Joyful day leaders. Practice hope for sure.
Yes.
We come back. Joyfulness, my way of life. Varshif is in a good role today. Joyful day. Okay. And then Linda acknowledges Linda acknowledges Elizabeth. It's so hard sometimes with names because they're all over the place and you just thought of one, talked to one, or thinking of the next one. So, I think you got to be hopeful in everything you do. And I think, just Dr. Joanne laughing just now really lends itself to an ingredient that will help everybody is a sense of humor. Right? It is a smile, is some laughter. I mean, even during, I wouldn't say the worst things, but in usually challenging things, a sense of humor, if nothing else, out of curiosity, like how could that ever happen? Or how did that happen to me? I mean, where did this ever come from? It could have been something, an animal, it could have been anything, right? An encounter. And if you can laugh at it, it lightens the initial load, because I think every challenge is just too serious when it approaches you, right? And you got to be the master and controller of it to say, hey, I'm busy. I'll get to you in 3 hours. I'm not going to entertain. Just because something's delivered doesn't mean you got to open it up as soon as you bring it in. And I think you got to be ready for it. There's a lot of times what it is.
Okay.
You just want to wait until you're not overreacting to it. So, life is all about condition. You're going to say, Dr. Joanne?
No, I was laughing because of what you were talking about. So the other day, I accidentally hit the wall with my hand, and I yelled at the wall. Why did you bump into me? But it made me laugh. It lightened the moment, and that's so important to be able. Those moments that you're talking about, Marilyn, moments in a moment, we can create more smiles. We can create a moment of joy for ourselves, and that's important. And Donald, you mentioned a gratitude journal. Well, why not include in the gratitude journal part of hope about what you've gone through? Because even one small thing that you've been able to get through signals that you did it, and then it may be because you did it then, you can do it now, or you can do it in the future. And we can build, as you said, Donald, we can build on that hope, just like we can build on the gratitude that we have in our lives for whatever. And it's so important, because when we look at that and we say, well, look, that was a difficult situation, and yet I made it through. I didn't know I was going to make it through, but I did. And here I am. And that's beautiful. And being able to share that with other people, to give them more of a sense of hope, and even ask them, well, what was the most difficult thing? Or what was something really hard in the last few years, or even yesterday, that you got through? And for having somebody say, well, such and such happened and I took care of it. It's like, well, yeah, look at that. I mean, we need to also give people positive feedback about their moments. I don't know why we're hearing that, but about their moments, about the times when when again something small can create something so beautiful for all of us.
Wow, that's great. And Varshish says, slowly walking with genius, genuine time will change with our premium cool guy. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to laugh. Make time, cool kids. And Ashif comes back with, smile often, think positively, give thanks, laugh loudly, love others, dream big, always remain hopeful. Yes, it is a practice, and it's easier to get down than to get up because more people are used to down. More people are surrounded by down media and news, and everybody's running faster, has less time. Everybody's looking at their screens. To get a real competitive advantage in life is put all the electronics away for a period in a day. Like Marilyn says, walk in a park, see nature. Hope is divined through visualization, but also visualizing what's in front of you. I mean, a bird, there's so many wonderful hawks and eagles and falcons that I've been seeing lately. And when you see something like that, it really puts things in a different light. And I think another point Marilyn made is you got to ask yourself, and it's a good exercise, what's the worst that can happen? Right? I mean, no matter what it is,
Yep.
What's the worst that can happen? And even if it's that, can I deal with it? And the answer is pretty much the worst never happens.
Right.
I mean, there's a degree that may happen, but there's a level that you have to have confidence in yourself, trust in who you have yet to meet, what you have yet to learn yet that can help you with any challenge, and be proud of what you became already. And everything that got you to the point in time that you're at was a blend of all the good, the bad, the reactions, right? And without the bad, you wouldn't be who you are. You'd be somebody else, maybe different, but you wouldn't be the same. And if you like who you are, and they say, the best thing to do is be who you are because everybody else has been taken, right? And so why not enjoy it? Before I turn it back to Marilyn, Natalie has a great point. I love that you are incorporating laughter into being hopeful. Hope is the spark that ignites laughter, turning fleeting moments into illuminating memories. So
absolutely,
that's so poetic, Natalie. Congratulations. That's just a wonderful addition to the conversation. Varshish says, cool, quality, effective, is time to cool, best friends. We'll get there eventually. Renadav says, we hope for a better world soonest. Here's a new name. I don't even want to begin to try to pronounce it, but Dr. Kaglar, I think you hit it.
Yes.
All the technical collaborations. Varshish comes back, masterful joyfulness, life will happily. Sounds great. I guess everybody's on that hopeful, happy, smiley plane right now that we've kind of encouraged. Marilyn, when you look at laughter and sense of humor, can you remember a time when that made a huge difference for you?
Yeah, like about 1.5 years ago, and you know what happened to me. I fell and totally tore my hamstring on my left side and could not walk. The pain was excruciating. I would wake up in the morning and say, well, this is going to be a crappy day. Well, I have an intuition that kicks me in the butt all the time. Yeah, you're going to have a crappy day if you want to. Don't get into that segue. Don't get into I'm going to have a bad day, because what you put out, you get back. And if you put out you're going to have a bad day, you're going to get back, I'm going to have a bad day. So turn that around and say, I'm going to have the greatest day of my life. Look in your bathroom mirror and hug yourself and say, I love me. I am amazing. I have a 9-year-old grandson who plays tackle football. He said to me one day, he says, I want to play for the NFL. I said, so put it on your vision board. And then one next day he says, I want to be a legend. I said, put it on your vision board. This kid is running up and down a football field like he's 25 years old and he's 9. And I see this in my children and my grandchildren. And one day my 6-year-old grandson said, Grandma, how come you know so much? Yeah, really, Joanne. How come I know? Because I'm seasoned.
Right.
Well, when my daughter was 15, she asked me the same question. She's going to be 40 next week. But when she was 15, she says, Mom, how come you know so much? Because I'm seasoned, because I've been through a lot. The older you get, the more seasoned you become, but be joyful about it. Have hope, because there is hope for everybody, especially throughout the day. So make it the best day. Be positive. Smile. Smile to people you don't even know. And don't forget to hug people. Now, a lot of people that you don't
And
know, they
hug
might not.
yourself.
Hugs are free, you know, hug people and stop worrying. Worry takes away your peace and your joy. So be hopeful, be joyful, and throw worry out the window, because you don't need to worry, because you can't control the fact that you're getting old. You can't control the weather. The only thing you control is what is going on with you right now. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be sad? Do you want to be joyful, or do you want to be, in a bad place? Get yourself out of that bad place. Start loving yourself. We are, what did I read this? We are worth more than we give ourselves credit for. We're
Yeah.
awesome. Every single one of us. We are awesome. Now
Well,
wake up in the morning and hug yourself and say, I am an awesome person. I love me. Love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't take care of yourself, there's nobody that's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I see you're having an issue. Let me take care of you. You got to do it yourself. Self-love is awesome.
Dr. Joanne?
No, I agree, Marilyn. It's wonderful. And even if you don't believe it, even if you don't believe that moment that you're good, that you're worthy, do it anyway, because
Mhm.
basically you're shifting the subconscious, you're shifting what's going on in your head. Oftentimes we tell ourselves a lot of negative things. I know that because I did that for a long time in my life. And
Mhm.
we can change that. We can make it us feel better, and we can feel wonderful about who we are despite challenges that we have, and despite lack of being perfect. And nobody's perfect. Don't even go that route, because you're not going to get anywhere. That doesn't make any sense. But it's important, and I love hugging yourself. I mean, people think that's weird, but right now just take a moment and hug yourself. It feels good. It may feel a little strange, like, but it's good. It's giving your body, your mind, you a signal that you care about you. And like you said, Marilyn, it starts with us. We have to start caring for ourselves and treating ourselves like we are worthy. I was
Yeah.
thinking I was thinking about something, because I have a song that I created for the birds when I walk outside. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll tell you some of the words. So I say, are you grateful for your wings? Are you grateful you can sing? Are you grateful for the sunshine in the sky? Are you great? And part of that is because I have a joy and gratitude video that I created for us. But it's amazing, because when I sing it to the birds, oftentimes when you'll notice when you walk, birds fly away because they don't want to be bothered. They don't know what you're going to do. But when I'm singing it, not that they love my voice, but there must be something about the tune or whatever. They don't fly away. So basically, are you grateful for your wings? Are you grateful you can sing? Are you joyful and grateful you can fly? And think about that. Are you joyful and grateful you showed up today? You got up in the morning. You're here, and thank you all for being here. Or, whatever it is, those moments are choices. Choices that we make that can make us feel so good, and we share that goes out into the world, into the people that are around us, like you said, your children, your grandchildren, Marilyn, and it really shifts other people as well as ourselves.
Yeah, it seems like you really got to put thought into things that don't take a lot of thought. Where awareness, some people have birds everywhere and they don't see one, don't hear one, because they're so stuck in their mindset or what just is happening, what they're getting ready for. They lose the moment they're in because of being conflicted by the past and the future at the same time. And, it takes discipline. The other question is, if you're feeling down, for how long is that going to be necessary? Fast forward. You say, I feel bad. And then you ask yourself, well, how long do you want to feel bad for? Will an hour do it? Will 20 minutes? Or can you just say, I can visualize and understand what 30 more minutes of this? And I think at the end of the day, one can always measure, is this serving my best and highest self? Whatever it is, whoever it is this moving me towards my goals, or is it taking me further away? Is this person like elevator buttons bringing me up or taking me down? And I think that's another choice, is who you choose, what you choose to be in that play that you write every day, that you're the star of the show. You choose the wardrobe, you choose the other characters on the stage, you choose the lines you want to use, because you can, even though most people continue to do the same routine, react to the same things. What was the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing expecting a different result. Right? And why not mix it up? Because you can always repeat yesterday tomorrow if you didn't like what you did today. You didn't burn any bridges, but when you probe, when you step a little further out of your comfort zone, you get to experience things that you haven't experienced. And it's refreshing and it's interesting. If you ate the same food every day, how excited by the next meal would you be? Right? And until you mix it up, and sometimes you go back to what you had, but at least you give yourself credit for trying. And I got to give Marilyn credit because, she took over a yoga class. Now she's buying a new bike. She's always looking to improve and to experience. And I think that's another thing people understand. It's the experience of life, not the result. They say the next thing best of playing and winning is playing and losing. Right? Because at least you're playing. The person who sits on the sidelines and wishes they could be on the field and never,
Yep.
and they're one step away. Marilyn, we're kind of, this hour goes so quick. What's your thoughts in conclusion? We got about 6 or 7 minutes between us to.
Well, it's the moment by moment thing. It is, you got to get up once you get down, but you also have to remember to take time for yourself. Like I told you, I was in the dentist chair on Wednesday for 3.5 hours. Well, when I finished my grandma duty yesterday, I came home and I had all these things I wanted to do. I couldn't do them because I was tired. I was sore. And I didn't want to do them. And I said to my husband, I'm just going to lay down. And I felt joyful because I was taking care of myself. And I didn't care what was going on in the world. And I turned off my phone. And I took a nap for like 2 hours because I needed that for me. And don't forget to take time out for yourself. I'm fortunate. I'm retired. And I'm not on LinkedIn that much right now because I did take a 200-hour hot yoga class last winter. And yes, and it was like being in college again. It was one of the hardest things I did. My goal was to graduate, and I did.
Bravo.
But it was not easy. I tore a muscle in my hip. I'm a muscle tearer. I'm not a bone breaker. I tear muscles before I break bones. And so I've healed that myself. And I feel better about it, but I go moment by moment. My grandson, Sammy, says, Grandma, when can you run? I'll let you know, Sammy, when I can run. I'm not in the running stage. Once I get on my bicycle and start cycling again, that will make me joyful, and maybe I can go from cycling to running. Sometimes you got to crawl before you can walk. Right now I'm in the crawl stage again, and I don't care because I take it moment by moment, and I'm joyful for every moment that I'm here, that I'm on this earth, talking to you and Joanne, Don. I mean, it's amazing. I know people can't see me. Sorry about that. I'll have to figure that out. Don, I'll have to figure that out with you later. That's
not a problem.
That
It's your words that mean everything. And, I think that, there's so many lessons that the three of us have learned and have paid a price for, but now we can share at no cost to ourselves or anybody else. And that makes whatever we went through a little bit more beneficial because we were able to share with others. So maybe they don't go through it themselves, or when they go through it, they go through it with a little bit more context and experience from somebody else. Because I think one of the most hopeful things to say is, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? I'm nothing special. I mean, and I could have even done better, to be honest with you, if I would have put more time and thought. And that's, I think, to Marilyn's point, is don't beat yourself up. You got to be your own fan club. You got to say, hey, you did the best you could. That's all you can do. And if it isn't, and competition takes away from hope. There's always
does.
going to be someone stronger, faster, prettier, younger, whatever. Dr. Joanne?
No, I was going to say, but so what? I mean, basically, if you get a little bit better than you were yesterday, that you're making progress. And I wanted to add a little bit to what Marilyn said. The moment, firstly, taking care of ourselves is essential. When we do that, we also have the strength and the wherewithal to be able to take care of other people when it's time, and that's important. But the moment thing, the other day I was walking and the light was hitting in such a way that I just turned, and there was a bush with all these butterflies on it, and the bush looked like it was all lit. And I said to myself, if I hadn't been out, if I hadn't taken that moment to be there, to turn around, to look, to see that beauty, that it was like a magical moment. What a gift. So moments are gifts that we can give ourselves, and each moments are precious. So take the time, like you said, Marilyn, for yourself. Enjoy the moments and let each moment enrich you in whatever way they can. And no matter what, there's hope. Hope can create more energy and more beautiful things to come despite the hardships, despite what you've been through. And I know we've been through a lot, Marilyn, you and I.
Yeah, we have. You know, one of the mantras that I say to myself, Marilyn, you can do this.
Right.
You can do this. So don't think that you can't do something. Put in that mantra, I can do this. I am important.
I am doing this.
I will make it through the day.
Right. It's important, and it shifts the mind and the body and the willingness to be able to move forward, and it adds more hope. Yeah, if I can do it. I will do it. I'm going to do it.
I'll get it done.
Right.
I'll get it done. You know?
Yeah, that is so encouraging and helpful, because, you know, if you take the time factor out, right? If you don't say, I got to get it done by tomorrow or next week, if you say, I'm going to do it at my comfortable speed, but I know I can attack little pieces of it. And the other big thing is being able to ask for some help when you need a little help. Maybe you can only get 80% and someone can lend you to 20%. Maybe someone has a skill set that you may need. And I think that's why being open and aware and making other people, like Dr. Joanne says, that, you know, she enjoys talking to clients even if they're not on the clock, because there's a hope for the people you're with too. You know, not like Marilyn says, she's got 8 grandkids and wonderful children. And as you get older, your hope is more for them than for yourself. Your joy is more for their success. If they're eating their first ice cream cone, you would never take it away to eat your 50,000th ice cream cone. You would actually give yours up or even buy them another one, you know, because you know how to invest your time. You know how to invest your thought, and you know what that could mean to somebody else, especially a younger person, a person who's challenged, who typically doesn't get that helping hand. And you take it for granted sometimes, but just a kind word, like we talked about, a smile, a little bit of laughter. Let me finish the comments before we finish the show. If we believe it, it will happen, Elizabeth says. Sheaf comes back with, yes, my favorite true quote, every story is us. Man, I don't know where you come up with all this stuff, Ashif. Dennis, agree. Great to reflect upon yourself or on or off your mirror. Linda has another meaty one. Agree. Look and find something to be positive about. I have pictures to brighten my day, words and scripture, which has helped me, especially through all the ways life has been, even on the mirror in bathrooms, brings me a smile, warms my heart. To finish, it says, get things that bring you a smile to start your day, warming your heart. Elizabeth comes back with create new stories to bring the new. Dennis is on a roll. Get out of bad place and don't get mad. Self-love is lovely and helps us and others. And so happy I chose to listen to you too, Dennis says. Dennis is a great guy. Can't thank him enough for supporting the show. Varshi says, just be fair with time. Okay. Got a lot of Arshif. And here, boy, they sure came in at the end. I needed this lesson this morning. Thank you all. And thank you, Arshif, for inviting me. Dennis, wow. Agree. Be a happy napper when you can be. Not hard work, but works. Elizabeth, exactly. We can soar all the time. We have to take a pause, take a breath. Dennis, good lessons, add some. Another Dennis. Varshi, great moment to listen to you three. I'm so glad everybody enjoyed it. Elizabeth, I always felt as if I were riding a bicycle uphill. Now I shifted to riding the bicycle on a path that's leveled, a bit bumpy at times. Well, little things, I mean, you're seeing progress, and that's the main thing, and it's because of what you decided to do or change. Linda Coleman says, so much here today, Don, from all of you. What a great end of the week word. People gain when not feeling, only them or only one going through whatever it is. Bringing life out helps give the strength to others, knowing not alone as they can do it. Elizabeth says a sheaf has it all within. Oh, Natalie is going to kind of finish it up. Thank you. Great show. Whenever doubt shadows my journey, I whisper to myself, I can do this.
Yay.
Well, thanks to Marilyn and Dr. Joanne today for bringing these wonderful nuggets of wisdom and experience to so many people who I give credit for can identify with it, even though they may not experience it. But, look at all three of us, on the stage, and we're all happy, we're all joyful, and definitely hopeful because, when you can look back instead of looking forward, you can look forward in a different way, especially because of Marilyn's quality point of time. Time waits for no one. You can't wait for time. You don't want a time out. You want to wear out. You want to use yourself up, not be, the buzzer goes off on you. And here's one more. Bye all. Well, you've said it for all of us. Well, I want to thank Dr. Joanne, Dr. Marilyn. I know we ran a couple minutes over, but I know it was worth it. I try to respect top of hour. And thank you all. And come back tomorrow, and I'll tell you, tomorrow we've got Leslie Flowers. Sunday, we've got Sarah Dawkins. Monday, we've got Gretchen. Tuesday, we've got Beverly. And Wednesday, we've got a new gentleman, Matthew Rolnick. You don't want to miss him. So everybody, thank you again. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Joanne. Have a lovely day. And be hopeful and share anything you want with us after the show about hope and what it could mean to you.